Epic Gaming Night is sponsored by Analog Gamer. Check out Analog Gamer for high-quality board game apparel. You can find Epic Gaming Night shirts and much more at analoggamer.com. This is Epic Gaming Night, a podcast about board games and the stories and relationships they create. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about tabletop games, but mostly board games. I'm your host, Roy Canny, and with me, as always, is Matt.
Hello.
And Rob.
Hello, hello.
How is it going, guys?
Bro.
It's going.
It is going.
Oh my goodness.
Bro, we're Pokemoning right now.
This episode is called Got to Catch 'em All.
Brought to you by Nintendo.
Brought to you by...
You know their stock went up now. It's now over 25%.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So we've been playing this little game. The episode's not about Pokemon Go. It's about collections and set collecting games. So we're tying it all together here. But we've been playing a lot of this new crazy app that came out on smartphones. It's an augmented reality app that's based off of the old Game Boy game from the 90s called Pokemon. I don't know if you've heard about it. It was a thing. But anyway, if you haven't seen this on the news or anything crazy like that, there's this augmented reality game where you can see Pokemon in real life, and they could be in your living room or down the street or at the house you're trying to sell to a customer, and they're waiting for you to do the open house, and you're too busy flicking the screen to actually sell the house to them.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
But yeah, so we've been playing a ton of that, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, so how many different types of Pokemon have you caught so far, Matt?
I don't know.
How can you tell?
If you go to your Pokedex, it'll tell you how many you've seen and how many you've caught. Mine is the same number, so everyone I've seen
46, caught 46.
Nice. I think mine is 63. So,
yeah, I'm not going to tell you my number.
10 and 10?
No,
That's
20
okay.
and 21.
That's not bad.
That's not.
I mean, because I know there's a previous episode where Rob talks about how...
I got a Tangela, that blue thing with the
vines?
It got away. I threw like 4 balls on it, all 4 catch it, and it still just pops out and just walks away.
Did you throw berries?
They're pretty strong. He doesn't have berries. He's not high enough level. You don't get them until you're a certain level. I was real salty about that too.
Berries, what's that do?
So there are these things called raspberries. So we can divulge from the podcast topic a little bit. And these raspberries, spelled kind of like jazz, but with an R. So I guess you're supposed to like throw your hands up and shake them like jazz hands.
Raspberries.
But
Exactly.
yeah, you can throw them to the Pokemon, and then they get a little bit more friendly, and make it a little bit easier to catch them. That being said, still kind of hard to do. So,
but yeah, so we played a ton of that. There's also these gyms you can battle in this game, running around trying to take over a bunch of gyms. Every day for the past 2 days, I've gotten off work and gone and taken a gym from Matt. I'm sorry, Matt.
Hey man, it's fine. I wrecked your pincer on the way out the door today, so it was fine.
Yes. We just wreck each other back and forth. I
That's
literally
good,
put
we
something not super strong.
You guys
there.
have a gym in your store?
No,
It's close by. It's in the parking lot.
Yeah, so down the street there's a restaurant, and there's a gym there. So like on lunch break, we'll go over there, and like there's a Pokestop right beside it too. We'll pick up some Pokeballs and mess around, and like after work we'll wreck the gym. And Matt keeps taking over the gym at lunch, and then when I get off, I wreck the gym again and take it back from him.
And then depending on how tired I am, I go back and take it, or I just say, nah, homeward bound.
It's awesome.
Me and AJ went there for lunch today. So instead of...
Well, that's awesome. So you actually patronized the place that instead of
Well,
just
no,
going to the parking lot.
we just went to the parking lot. Sorry, I should preface it that way. Why am I going to go inside? But so we get there and we pull in. The servers are being wonky because that's what they do. And was sitting there, and I was like, man, you know what? Let's just go get food. And I was about to pull out, and then I noticed that somebody had put like a lure module in, and I was like, never mind, let's stay here. So we stayed there and just caught a bunch of Pokemon.
Yes.
We beat the gym, and then somebody else pulled in, and then I happened to notice that he added somebody to like our gym, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And he like rolls down his like window, and he's like, "Team Yellow," and we're like, "Yeah!"
That's awesome. That's the best.
You're not Team Red?
Nah.
They both specifically picked Team Yellow because I really wanted them to pick Red. So I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, Matt and AJ, you guys are my friends. Like, we can work together. We can take gyms. We can do all this stuff together as a team. And they're like, you know what? No, not on Roy's team. Oh, thanks, guys.
So here's the thing.
Why didn't you text
In our
me?
area, in our area, yellow team is like hard mode because it's like I see blue and red gyms all over the place. I've seen like 2 yellow gyms.
It's
so
not
it's
about
like-
hard mode or easy mode. It's about being able to just work together.
Look at it
And
this
we
way.
can't actually work
we
together.
we are working together because you take a gym and get like 500 experience points, and then I take that gym and get 500 experience.
then I
points,
take the
and
gym
You
and-
take that gym and get 500 experience points, and then we're level 30 and everything's fine.
And we just keep putting mediocre Pokemon back in there so it's easy
Yeah.
to take. Funny thing is, this game's all about taking gyms and area control, like, on an actual global map. Like, I have a couple gyms that are just down the street from me. And I was coming home, and I'd already done you get rewards once a day for gyms that you control. And I'd already done it. And there was this guy sitting at a gym, and I was about to, like, take it. And I'm like, oh, man, this guy's trying to take the gym right now. So, like, pulled my car up to him. I was like, hey, man, what color are you? He's like, oh, I'm blue team. And it was a yellow gym. And I was like, well, I mean, I won't get in the way. He's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't think I can beat this. And I'm like, dude, man, you want me to beat it and then put something wimpy in there so you can take it? And he's like, yeah, that might work. So it was like a Tangela in there that was like 600 CP. I just used my Magmar and like wrecked it, and then put like a little 10 CP Rattata in there. And he wrecked it and took the gym, and I was like, oh, nice. Like, he said he just started today, so I was like, yeah. I was like, go watch some YouTube videos. You can learn how to play the game too. And I drove off. And so yeah, the game's pretty crazy, pretty fun. But yeah, so Pokemon Go, that is not a board game. So hopefully we didn't lose all of our subscribers.
It is what we've been playing though,
Pretty much.
with some other things. Kind
We
of scattered.
also played another huge epic game that took all of game night on Friday when we weren't playing Pokemon Go. And Rob, do you want to describe that game? No. Matt, do you want to talk about how you defended your territory? That's pretty much what you did.
Yeah, man.
That was a punk on Friday night.
Matt caused the game to go on forever.
Yeah, that's. Well, okay, so we played Forbidden Stars, big 4X game.
Not really 4X, more just like
Well,
Conquest.
yeah, you're right. It's not 4X, but it's vaguely reminiscent of how
Yeah.
TI plays, just without the gambling about us, I suppose. But so we play it, and pretty much this is what happens every time. Roy goes, I'm not super familiar on how to play this. I mean, he is on Twilight Imperium, but Forbidden Stars kind of
There's a
got
lot.
most of it down.
There's a lot
yeah.
in that game.
There's a lot of rules, and none of the rest of us have any idea. So Roy refreshes himself, reads the rule book, watches some YouTube videos, and then prepares to teach us all how to do it. And then so we get there. There's a brief little bit of instruction. We go through the game. There's tons of questions, like always. And then eventually, by like the second or third round, everybody starts to feel really comfortable. But by that point, Roy already has like 4 victory points, and everybody else has like got 1 and maybe
No, he
a couple
has 3, and
spaceships.
you need 4 to win.
Hey, I
Yeah.
did tell everybody these are the point of the game.
I know that, but the thing is, it's just like every time we play a game like that, it's just like, okay, cool. What am I doing? Oh, look, Roy's in my house. Huh? How do I don't think I can stop this. I did not prepare for this.
Great game.
And then Roy, nicely enough, he'll go in. He'll go, "This is what I needed. Goodbye," and he'll just leave, and everything's fine.
Until
but the
it's
issue
1
is-
point left until the game's going to be over.
Yeah, in which case I control that 1 point, and it's sitting in my land, and Roy's like, I think I might come for that. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I just take all of his stuff that's close to mine and then go, no, You're not going to get. And then Rob also needs something that was in one of my lands to control, and he had taken 3 by that point from AJ, I believe, mostly.
No, it was a mix of like 1 of Roy's and then 2 AJ. But the
Yeah.
thing that was tough for me and you, Matt, in that game was like I had 1 objective across from me, and then my other 3 objectives, or the close ones, were on the other side of the map. So like
Yeah.
I had to go through, because the other closest one to me was AJ's home base.
Yeah.
And it's either go and fight AJ to get 2, and then the other 4 are in between your 2 bases. So it's either fight all 3 to get 4, or fight one guy for 2, and then try to sneak in the back to get the other 2. It was tough being on the outside.
Yeah, I definitely want to
Yeah.
play. I definitely want to play a game where we custom build the map as we go, because then your units are going to be more dispersed, like out throughout the entire
Yeah.
galaxy, and it's not going to be as much like there's these many here and this many there. I mean, it's all like set up specifically how Fantasy Flight set it up and made it where like they tried to make it sort of even, but also modular with the number of players. Because the way the game works is you have the red and blue map set up, and all the red and blue are like kind of together in those 4 or those 6 sectors. And then if you want to play 3 players, they add in the orcs. And then if you want to play 4 players, they add in the
Tau.
Eldar.
Eldar.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
the tower knows.
so like the yellow and green are kind of
the
like
Eldar
all
were
in their
awesome.
3 things. They're not really mixed together, so that they can scale it depending on the number of players. But I feel like it'd be a lot more fun just to build the map ourselves and be like, oh, I see what he's doing there. I'm going to go hard here so I can try to get that, but then try
Yeah.
to make sure you're spread out enough to be able to get enough of your pieces. But yeah, man, 4 players, the downtime is intense in that game.
Well, especially
Yes.
like when you're fighting.
Yeah,
I mean, I still like the game. I loved it. I'd play it again. Like,
When you
It's
and
not that I
AJ
didn't
were
enjoy it.
fighting, I was just like, "Hey Matt, what are we gonna do?"
yeah, you
I
guys
mean,
are
that's-
joking.
No, we were playing Pokemon Go.
We were doing the same. Y'all were doing the same thing when me and Matt were like at it.
Yeah.
You guys were like,
Yeah,
"What do we
it
do? We
was-
just sit here."
I mean, it's a good game.
Definitely.
And it's like anytime you reveal a turn, it takes maybe a minute or 2. But when you get into combat, it's like a half hour.
Yep.
And you're like, oh boy.
The combat in this game is like there's a lot of things that go on. Like you have your units, you get to roll dice for each one of your units. So you roll these dice, and you're trying to get guns, which are attack, and then shields, which are defense, and then morale. And then you roll those dice, and those dice are like static; they just kind of stay there. And then you do 3 rounds of combat where you play cards to manipulate those dice, add more dice to the pool, or add more symbols to the pool, because cards will have symbols on them. And then you're just trying to manipulate, because if your guns go against their shields, and if you have more, then they have to take damage on their units, and then they can have units that get routed, which means they no longer can kind of like use their hit points unless they die off or whatever. And then at the end, if both sides aren't, or one side isn't dead by the end, then morale matters. And if one player has more morale than the other on their unrouted units, the other player has to retreat. If they don't have a good place to retreat to, they have to kill all their units off. So it's very convoluted combat for what like the rest of the game is just like moving around and trying to like upgrade your units and put more units on the board. So it's like combat takes as long as like an entire round of everything else.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you're not having combat, it's fine. But when you're having combat, it's like, oh, look at those guys go. They're doing combat.
Yeah.
So
But it was good. It was fun.
yeah, I definitely think it's an awesome game. And if you like, it's all set in the Warhammer 40K universe, with the Chaos Space Marines and the regular Space Marines and the Orc and the Tau. But there's a sad lack of Necrons. We need some Necrons and Gene Stealers in there, and then it would be amazing.
Yeah.
But don't make it more players. Just add those units in that you can switch in and out.
Or you can make it more players, but maybe streamline the combat a little bit and add more space to the board. That'd be fine.
Yep. But I mean, maybe it's
Good
you
luck
just
with
want
that,
it to
though.
be an epic all day long game. So
All weekend long game, I think you mean.
yeah, something like that.
Could you imagine playing that 6 players? Oh god.
It you would just, when it was other people's turn or other people are in combat, you just be like, okay, we'll see you guys.
Guys, I'm gonna go to the
get-
grocery store. I'll.
get lunch.
You need anything? I'm gonna go grab some milk.
Hey guys, there's a Bulbasaur outside. I'll be right back. That may have happened a few times during our game.
Yeah, that did. I specifically at one point, you and Rob were fighting, and me and AJ were outside looking for a Scyther, and I just took off running down your street. I really wanted that Scyther. It was nowhere close.
So
Yeah,
so
I
if people had issues with people having their cell phone at the board game table before,
Oh, that's what Roy and I were saying before the show started. Like, Matt, this year Gen Con, you're going to know all the crazy booths, not by the games that they have, but where all the Pokemon are. Because can you imagine everybody that's going to bump into each other or bump into product because they're going to be playing Pokemon Go at Gen Con? It's going to be amazing, but it's going to be hilarious. There's going to be a lot of, I'm sorry, or, oh, what did you get? Did you get that? There's going to be a lot of that. Not...
Somebody
board game's
walking around with a
amazing.
big sign saying Team Yellow. Just have a conga line of people following him from gym to gym.
it's crazy how much like people are like fighting over the different teams and like being like, oh, this team's good, this team's terrible, you guys suck. I enjoy the like running
Can
around.
you switch teams?
No,
I don't
which is
think so.
lame.
Or is
You
it,
might be able
don't
to
leave
later."
me.
No, I just want us to all be on the same team so we can do stuff together.
Nah.
I would like all of my friends. to
There's
be
not
on the
even that
same
much
team.
to do.
Defend. You can make gyms up to level 7 and have 7 people in them.
Hey, if you have
Defend
multiple people in a
gyms.
gym, do you have to fight each one of those Pokemon?
Yeah.
Because I just saw the gym near here that has got like 4 people or 4 things in it.
Good
Yep.
luck.
I mean, you'll get to take 6 in with you, so it's not like it's.
It is a red team gym though.
Hey man, if it's a high enough level, you can just add your guy in there.
It's got
Yeah.
a white dragon,
What? Blue Eyes
Uh,
White Dragon? That's
no,
from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Aerodactyl.
Yeah.
There's an Aerodactyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Aerodactyls.
Are you
there's-
kidding me?
Dude, I
Oh,
saw
in
a,
this gym.
I saw a
hanging out
Charizard in a
with
gym
Eddie.
today, Matt. A Charizard. Like hollow foil Charizard. It wasn't hollow foil, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
look, there's a Pidgey outside.
Oh man.
Oh man.
But yeah, good times. So I guess we'll go ahead and get into our topic, which we're first.
You don't
gonna-
want to talk about Stronghold?
Dude, definitely talk about Stronghold. Rob,
Right?
go.
Okay, so I finally got to play Stronghold Second Edition by Stronghold Games, and I will say 2 things. One, there's a lot in that game. There's a lot that goes on in that game. 2, it lived up to the hype for me.
Nice.
Absolutely, really, really, really liked Stronghold Second Edition. I didn't expect to win. I did not win the game. Let me do a quick background. So, Stronghold Second Edition is a 1v1 game where one person is controlling a castle. The other person is controlling an army of orcs. And the way that the army of orcs win the game is they just have to breach the castle walls. That's it. That's all they have to do is breach the castle walls. Oh, that's what I was doing while you guys were talking about Forbidden Stars. That's why I don't want to talk about it. I caught like 2 things. Anyway, so you have 7 rounds, and you have to try to hold off the orcs within 7 rounds. The first couple rounds are kind of a wash for the orcs. They're setting, or the bad guy army. They have goblins, orcs, and then trolls. And of course, you know, the bigger you get, the harder they are to kill. The first couple rounds, they're setting up their army. They're moving pieces around. So the first couple rounds are really going to be in your favor. But oh my goodness, it gets really hard for the defender once you get around near round 5 and 6. That's where I lost. It was round 6. What you do as the defending player, you start off with 6 turns, basically 6 actions, and then you don't get an action until they do something, but you have to spend all of your actions that you get. So you do a move, then I get to do my 6 actions, then you do a move, and then I possibly get to do a move depending on what move you did. So you start off great as a defender, but you have to make decisions that first round that are going to affect you later on in the game, because you don't get a lot of moving points in the future like the orcs do. And so that's what hurt me in the game is I first of all, I hadn't played the game before, so I didn't realize the long game goal that you needed. But there were things that I did where I stretched myself way too thin because I didn't have enough later on to be able to stop these orcs from coming in. Um, the the game board is probably one of my favorite game boards right now. Really beautiful game board. Really great art. Really enjoyed that. The meeples are actually very well done. They're little
I thought
wooden
the meeples looked really cool. I saw the
Yeah.
picture that you had on Instagram. We posted it on ours, and like I like the little archer meeples with the bows.
Yep.
Like, that's awesome.
Yep, you got archer, then you have infantry, and then you have like a veteran guy who's red, so it's white, green, red. Now for the bad guy army, they're just cubes, a white cube, a green cube, a red
Because don't
cube.
they have to like pull them out of a bag or something like that?
Yes,
So they
there's like 100 goblins, 60 orcs, and then like 40 trolls. And so yeah, you have to pull them out of a bag, but it was a lot of fun. I definitely want to play it again now since I semi know what I'm doing. Because of course, when you play a brand new game, especially a big game like this, because this is a big game. Like this is a 2 hour game. If you can make it to all 7 rounds, we played for about an hour and a half. It was close to 2 hours, I guess. And we only got to round six. He beat me on the. He had just enough points to breach the wall because the game ends as soon as they breach the wall. And so it's like boom, they breach the wall, they win. And the way that you do your points is you have a number system. So you add up your numbers compared to their numbers. Then whoever's got the more numbers above that, that's when you start taking damage. So if I have five as the defender and the attacker has five, then kind of like nothing really happens. But if I, as the defender, have 10 and the attacker only has six, then I do four damage to the attacker, and I'm able to remove four damage worth of stuff from his army. You know, and he had just enough where he could do enough and still have one guy get through. And it was tough. It was rough. But Stronghold Second Edition definitely lived up to the hype for me. The board is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. But I will say,
How long did it take you guys to play for your first playthrough? I'm sure you
2
all
hours.
rules a lot. That's not bad.
no, no. But I could see it going 2 hours, even if you know what you're doing.
Gotcha.
Because Roy, like when you're the orc army, I keep saying orc, but when you're the bad guy army, you get these cards, and you can only do your moves based on what those cards say, and you can interchange cards in between round. But so like you may have something that's really not great, and you want to change it out for next round, but you only are able to do what those cards say. It's kind of like a little bit when you're the bad guy army, like the Mansion Keeper of Mansions of Madness. You can only do your moves based on those cards.
Gotcha.
And the defender, he has his cards. Now his cards are really good. The defending cards are good, but the problem is you get hourglasses to represent your actions, and the bad guy may do a really great move, but it only gives you one hourglass. And the thing you want to do may require three hourglasses. So he'll have done three moves for you to finally be able to do your one move that you want to do.
Gotcha.
And so it's tough. You really have to be able to move guys around, and the orc army can get so big that they can spread out all over the place. That's where I could see that really being a problem for people. But a lot of fun. I definitely want to play it again. That's Stronghold Second Edition.
How would you compare it to like War of the Ring and like you
Completely different.
You haven't played Battle of the Five Armies yet, have you?
I have not played Battle of the Five Armies. It's not the same because it's a simple objective. There's no other way to win. You just, as the defender,
You
just have
hold
to
on.
just have
That's
to hold up.
basically how it is in Battle of the Five Armies. You basically, as the defender, you get more and more units as you just hold out the different locations, and the bad guys are trying to come in and take a certain number of the locations. And
Yeah,
get
but there
enough
are
units.
other things though in Battle of Five Armies, not Five Armies, War of the Ring, that allow you. Were you just saying War of the Ring or Battle of Five
Battle of
Armies?
the Five Armies.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
War
I
of the Ring
haven't
is a lot more thematic with a ton of.
Well, and there's
crazy
also
stuff
different
going
versions.
on, and yeah.
different ways that you can win, but it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I would play it again. I give it 2 thumbs up, especially if you like war strategy games, and if you like thinking games where it's like, okay, like
Does
crap,
it feel
what am I
like you're defending Helm's Deep or defending Gondor or something like that along those lines?
I never thought those things because the theme was in there, but I
Gotcha.
did feel like crap. They're trying to take my castle, and this orc army is coming to like wreck my land. So I don't know if it's like a Warhammer theme that I was feeling, but I did get the idea of, man, you got some big trolls coming. You got
There's
some
waves and waves
goblins.
of guys, and you got to.
I'm not worried about goblins, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did enjoy it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we definitely have to get that to the table sometime.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess
Oh.
we'll.
And after the show, it's going to be rough, but I'm going to play Star Wars Rebellion. It's been really rough with my friends here
That's
from out of town.
Have you all
And
played
last-
it yet? Have you played it before?
No, while I'm doing the show now, he's reading the rules and setting it up.
That's
And so
awesome.
once the
So,
show's
so
done,
which side are you gonna play?
whatever side he says, because he's setting it
which
up.
side do you think you'll be better at? Are you gonna be the sneaky hiding rebels, or are you gonna be the Empire that's the
I'll pro-
impeding, crushing doom like coming?
I'll
Across
probably
the galaxy?
end up being the Empire just because he's a big Star Wars fan. And I know he'll probably want to be like the rebels at first to try it out.
You just spread out as fast as you can. Take all the things. That's my tip.
Oh, for the Empire?
Yeah, just find
Oh,
them.
We played Deception Murder in Hong Kong last night with
Oh, yeah?
my because I got my copy, and we played with my wife and my friend and his wife, and we played with their daughter. So there's only 5 of us, but we had a good time. They were really liking it, and all the women wanted to be the forensic scientists
Oh yeah.
because. Well, they would like chat back and forth and like, no, you did it. No, you did it. No, you did it. So then it was like, let me just try being the forensic scientist. And we got the murderer. I don't know if it's just because we got really good shuffles, but we got the murderer. I think we played 5 times. We got 3 out of the 5 games. We were able to figure out who the murderer was.
Yeah.
It's just,
People weren't good enough at lying, or weren't good enough at picking their 2 cards to be.
it wasn't
Along
that,
the
but the
same thing.
clues that we were able to get.
Yeah.
The clues we were able to get were really kind of like, man, like this just really worked. And we super meta gamed it, and I planted that seed in their head because I was like, hey, if a clue really has nothing to do with what you think is the murder, put something down that you would think relates to that person. So anytime the daughter was a murderer, we'd always said the victim was a child, and we're like, oh, okay, she's the murderer. Now how'd she do it? I mean, we super meta.
And you wonder why the murderer got killed every time.
No, there's a couple
Oh,
times.
man. If that's the case, it's impressive they survived twice.
She survived one of those times.
So
'cause we
forensic
couldn't figure it
scientist,
out.
point to the murderer. All right, point to the 2 cards that they chose.
But still, I mean, it's still a testament to that game. Even if you know who the murderer is, it's still difficult to figure it
We
out
knew it
because
was her
there
one
are
time,
8
and
cards
we
in
couldn't
front of
figure
them.
it out. We could not figure it out because the thing that she had, it was Riddle. She chose Riddle, and she chose like Umbrella or something like that. It was some weird combination.
Dude, anytime you get Riddle, it's just like, GG.
Yeah, it
Ain't
was
guessing Riddle ever.
no. And I was the forensic scientist, and the only thing I could think of for location was classroom. I wanted somebody to think of something like that, but the other problem was one other person had lunchbox, and so as soon as they saw lunchbox, they're like, nope, it's that person's.
That's where they are.
So is Riddle the murder weapon? Like literally, they're just trying to solve the riddle. and
Riddle
they just
was the
kill
motive.
her? I know.
Yeah, it was the motive, and then the murder weapon was. It wasn't Umbrella, but it was something.
Dude,
like
I'm helping at the Gray Fox booth at Gen Con, and I'm really hoping that I get to demo that game some, just because it'll
It
be
is so
fun.
much
It'll
fun.
be
They
fun to
loved
teach
it.
people how to play.
When we were at dinner earlier, they're like, the daughter came up to me. She's like, "Hey, are we playing that game again tonight?"
That's
I was like, "Sure,"
awesome.
because that's all we're doing is we're staying up like crazy late just playing board games all
Yeah,
night.
it's definitely like my favorite like social deduction game. I'm pretty sure now at this point, just
Yeah.
playing it. So
I
many
would
times.
agree with
just
that
because there's a lot more to it, and it still has that awesome social deduction aspect of who
Oh.
did it, where are they at, trying to figure it out, and then if you are the murderer, you're just all the lying and stuff is a lot of fun too.
And last one, this won't take long. We played Blood Rage today.
Oh my god!
I mean, you've been going ham.
Bro, I had so much fun. It's like, please come back all the time.
Are you showing
Um,
houses, or are you just like,
No,
guys,
we had friends come in from
guys?
Arkansas.
Okay,
And so I
you're just
I
on
did
the-
work this morning. I worked till about noon. I have been working till about noon every day, and then when I get
Came
off,
back and just like board games.
yeah. But we only
awesome.
played 2 players because the girls went shopping.
Mhm.
Blood Rage is tough with 2 players. The board starts off with 3 areas destroyed,
Yeah, I'm sure.
and there's only 8.
Is there not
spaces
as
on-
much interaction even with the 3 places destroyed, or are you still fighting each other? I feel like
It's quick fighting. It's quick fighting. It's like you're not really getting a lot of pieces on the board. And here's the other problem with only 2 players.
if one person gets ahead, I'm sure they just dominate.
No, I mean you can still catch up if you're doing objectives and stuff.
Got it.
I was showing him different things to do because I wanted him to like get the flavor of the game. So we had a good time. But the thing I didn't like about two players, so many cards are taking out of the draft.
Oh yeah,
For
you don't get to do
I
all the
was
cool stuff.
I was gonna say monsters. Some of them are-
Monsters, there was only like a handful of monsters in there,
Yeah.
and that's through all the drafts because a lot of cards say for 3+, a lot of cards say for 4+, and then there's only a handful of cards that say 5+. But there's there's only a couple cool cards for the two-player game. It's just for more people, you really need to do some crazy combos. Like Matt's combo is not an option on the two-player game.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, it's because I think it's got a 3+ beside it or something. And so that was the only downside. I get it though, because we still had a bunch of cards to go through.
Right.
But I just remember looking back, like, man, where were these cards at? And after I sorted all the cards, I was like, yep, they're all in this amazing pile of
Awesome
stuff.
cards.
Just sitting there hoping you can get that troll where you can just be like, and I just put him on your land, and all your guys died.
The troll was
don't
still
think
an
he-
option. I don't think
Really?
he got. I don't think he got shuffled though.
Okay.
That's awesome though. Awesome. Rob played all the games.
And
We're
is
gonna
going to
talk.
play more.
We're gonna talk a little bit about collections, set collecting games, because you got to catch them all. So what is a set collection game? So there's a bunch of it's a mechanic that is used in various different games. Basically, it's normally done with cards. Sometimes it can be done with different resources and things like that. But you're trying to collect sets of things to turn them in for other things, to turn them in for victory points, to sneak them past a sheriff. I mean, different things like that. So there's all sorts of different types of set collection games that are used in different types of games. What are some different examples of set collection games that you guys can think of?
Where you already blew my idea. Sheriff of
I
Nottingham
didn't say the actual thing.
is probably one of my favorite set collecting games. It's a lot of fun, and it's more of a party style, simple set collecting game. But
But getting the right sets can set you up real good, because you're like,
oh yeah,
you're like, hey guys, 5 chickens, and he's like, no way, and you're
and
like,
then it's 5 chickens.
whatever, and he pops it open, it's 5 chickens, and you win.
Yeah,
So, working out a way to save up a couple in your hand, or
we're
set
gonna
it up.
play Sheriff of Nottingham tomorrow.
Do it, because that game is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sheriff of Nottingham's a good example. A different one that is kind of interesting that's a cooperative game is Hanabi.
Yeah,
You're having to collect the different sets of numbers and put them down in the different rows. And Hanabi is very unique because you're collecting sets, but you're not allowed to look at what you have in your hand to be able to fulfill those sets, and you have to go off of clues from the other players and not mess that up, because if you play the cards in the wrong order, then you're just totally screwed up. Do you have any ideas of any, Matt?
No.
I would say what's a fun one that my wife and I like to play a lot, and it's not so much cards, but we play Splendor, and you need to get the sets.
Definitely.
See, that's what I was gonna say. But is
Yeah.
that really set collection though?
Board
Well,
Game
yeah,
Geek
'cause
says
you're
it's
getting-
set collection.
because you're getting
I
the
guess you're
different sets
collecting
of the
the-
diamonds and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you're getting the
Okay.
sets to exchange them for sets of other things and things like that.
Yeah.
But the sets of other things really don't matter. Those are just point scoring.
Right. Probably the most popular set collection game out there is Ticket to Ride.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. You have to collect. Basically, in Ticket to Ride, you're trying to claim routes, and you need the different sets of cards to be able to claim the routes. So there's a route that takes 5 reds. You have to collect 5 red train cars, and basically you get to get 2 train cars every turn. You're just trying to collect all these different color sets to make the routes that are on your tickets. Very simple game. One of the best family games, or best highest rated family games out there. Super simple, super quick. The turns are so quick in that game. That's one of the things I do like about it.
Would you say code names? Because as a team, you're trying to collect those groups of cards. It's not necessarily a set, but it could be a set if you want to say red cards, blue cards.
I don't.
Is that pushing it?
I think that may be pushing a little bit. A lot of worker placements have set collection aspects to them as well. Like Lords of
Yeah.
Waterdeep, you're trying to collect the different. So you're trying to get, I need a fighter and a rogue and a cleric, and that's the set that I need to fulfill this quest. So it's all about getting the resources you need to get victory points. A lot of different Euros have set collection in them.
What about King of Tokyo? Don't you get the different? Am I pulling at straws?
That's just like Yahtzee. You're just trying to collect different icons on dice, which is very random. So you're not really like holding them forward. There's a game we played the other week, Matt, about life. That's very set collection-y.
Oh, CV, yeah, that one.
Or Sushi Go?
Sushi Go is very much set collection as well.
Yes. We're on top of our game this week.
I'm not. I still don't even know.
A lot of drafting games have a lot of set collection in them, like Seven Wonders. You're trying to grab the different icons to be able to fulfill different things.
If that's the guidelines, you know it's a set collection game? Kemet.
Oh, yeah? Because you have to collect the different combos or whatever?
You have to collect the different combos, and they're based on colors. Like, if you have... You can't do this unless you have so many of the other whites or reds or whatever. Yeah, so... Take that, Internet.
Awesome. So, what do you like about set collection mechanics in board games? Because we don't really play a whole lot of games that's not like the specific mechanic we go after.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, my thinking, because I looked at the show notes 5 minutes before the show turned on, the first thing that came to my mind actually was actually Marvel Legendary, because whenever I play that game, I try to get the different sets based on the character. Like, I'm a big Wolverine fan, so anytime I see Wolverine, I'm trying to get every single Wolverine card, which combos off of other Wolverines. So, like, to answer that question, my favorite aspect of it are the different combos you can get based off the different cards that you collect. Like, I do enjoy building combos and building that engine, you know.
That's interesting. Because I mean, if you're going to look at a deck builder, like, I wouldn't say Dominion really has as much stuff that you need prerequisites of other cards, but Legendary actually has a decent amount of, like, hey, you need this card to trigger this ability, but it's very...
Well, yeah, because some of that stuff doesn't work unless you have, like, the little icons in the corners and stuff like that.
Huh, interesting.
So that's what I bring to the table.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that you can do in different games. A lot of tech tree type stuff is very set collection feeling, you know? Like, you have to have this prerequisite with that prerequisite and different things like that. I think that's all very interesting in different games. I really want to get Seven Wonders Duel. Do you have that game, Rob?
Yes, I do.
You guys should play Seven Wonders Duel. It's super short. But
is it fun?
It was like the number one party game, or not party game, the number one 2-player game for like a whole bunch of categories on like Board Game Geek, Dice Tower Awards, everything. So yeah, it's awesome.
I will.
And it's easy to learn how to play too.
I'll see if he wants to take it out.
But yeah, so what sort of set collection mechanic do you think what's a different way they could use set collection in a game that you haven't seen before, or just off the top of your head that you think would be cool? Matt's like, I don't even know.
No idea.
I can think of some really awesome stuff that they could do with set collection as far as like crafting in games. Like sort of like Minecrafty type stuff. Like if there was a game where you had to run around and collect different types of things to build specific things, that'd be really awesome.
Kind of like Catan, where you have to have certain things to make a village.
But I was thinking more along the lines of I want to
two sticks make lumber.
I want to make this weapon, so I need a stick and a rock, or like I need a stick and iron, and depending on where you find the different things on the map, you can gather those resources and use those to build your different things that you need. So
aren't they doing that with that new game coming out, Origins?
Maybe.
Origins
have like different crafting in that game.
You start off as like a caveman, and you have to be able to get stuff to build stuff, and like you can't build something unless you have like let's say you can't build a house unless you have mud, rock, and wood or something like that. So
I also think it'd be cool to like be able to upgrade weapons like in Fallout 4 and stuff like that. Collecting different. I need my screws and my glue and my glass so I can make my scope.
I was gonna say that upgrading equipment. I'm 100%, whether it's armor or anything like that. Upgrading equipment, I think, would be fantastic, especially in a lot of these post-apocalyptic games like Post-Human, or other stuff like that. Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of this Final Fantasy mobile game before I started playing Pokemon Go, and there's a lot of sets you have to get to upgrade your characters, so like the monsters will drop different things. So there was a board game where like when you fought things, they dropped items, and then you'd have to put those together to make better items for yourself, you know. That could be kind of cool. But yeah, board game design ideas. So what would you say is your favorite game with set collection?
If you're going to let me get away with it, I'm still going to say Marvel Legendary. But I will put in for a close second Splendor. Even though it's not my favorite game, I love playing it with my wife because it's a game she really gets into. And so that means a lot to me. It's that nostalgia of like, okay, when she wants to play a game, I'd say over half the time she picks that game. So Splendor.
My favorite game with set collection is Shadows over Camelot, because it's very much collecting the sets of the groups of numbers, collecting the sets of the grails, collecting the different sets of like cards to be able to put on the board. Like that's what all the quests are set collection, except for the one where you discard cards. So and the set collection is like the main part of the game. The rest of it's trying to figure out how to survive all the other stuff and the minutia of trying to figure out who the traitor is and see how much they're screwing you guys over. But yeah, that game uses set collection in like a very straightforward way, but then the rest of the game built around that is very much completely different from a lot of other games that have that same mechanic. But yeah, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, that's a good point, because now... Yeah.
But yeah, awesome.
Would you say, okay, based on that, would you say that XCOM is part of a set collection, especially with the scientists? Because you have to be able to get certain sets of certain things before you can unlock and move on, or no?
It's not really sets. It's you use the scientist and then you roll for it. It's not like you're collecting like, I need 4 Asian scientists and a German scientist to make this. Like there's no set involved, I don't think.
Gotcha. Do
But
you know
that's just
how the upgrades in Dead of Winter are going to work in the new expansion? Are you going to need like sets of specific types of cards to be able to build the upgrades? I think that's how it works.
I have no idea, and I've been asking Brian where my copy is, and he keeps telling me the same thing. Did you pre-order it with Seafall? I was like, yes. He's like, yeah, you're not getting it. I'm like, why, bro? Like, come on. He's like,
you're like, everybody else has it. This is not fair.
It's right. He's gonna be on the show soon. I'm gonna give him a hard time. I'm gonna put him on blast.
That's awesome.
Oh, random news. I'll be able to pick up my copy of Secret Hitler at Gen Con so we can play it while we're there.
That's awesome.
Hey!
It was so funny. Me and my brother-in-law, like, he downloaded Tabletop Simulator on my wife's new computer. And we were looking through all the games. He's like, Secret Hitler, what's this? And I'm like, oh, Matt, back that game on Kickstarter. He says that game's awesome.
It's pretty good.
He's like, who would play a game called Secret Hitler? I'm like, I've heard it's great.
To be fair, it is very fun when you get that email that's like, congratulations, you've successfully backed Secret Hitler. And you're like,
I don't want to back Hitler. That's
thanks.
a terrible idea.
Thanks. Google's just going to be like, an essay? This guy and like a couple million other people need to be watched. Thank you.
They already know your location at all times. They're like, he just clicked on this Pokestop. He just clicked on that Pokestop.
They get between that and them like looking at the camera photos of just my legs. It's just like, all right, cool.
Pokemon just all over your legs all the time. Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, well, let's move on to the next part of this. Matt, do you personally collect anything?
I would say debt, but I don't have any.
You don't have any debt?
That's better
That's
than
awesome.
us.
I don't have any debt. I'm very lucky in that regard. Collect.
So you don't owe anything on your car or anything like that?
Nope.
Shut up. One of my cars is paid for, so.
Never
Steam
should be
games, would
responsible
Steam
adult.
games be considered a collection?
No, because I'll never finish, and I don't want them all. So, man, I don't know. It's no, I guess, or maybe. I like to get very nerdy posters or nerdy T-shirts. I wouldn't necessarily say that I collect them because I like to use them. Posters. I mean, yeah, I guess I hang them up and you see them and they're pretty and whatnot. But
But don't you collect certain series of books and stuff like that, or anime and stuff like that? Like, it doesn't have to be complete to be a collector.
well, it's not like I collect them. I just go, oh, this looks neat, and then I buy it and then I read it and then I just either continue reading it or I just have a book that I didn't care for that's sitting on my shelf. So, I mean, maybe I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a ton of board games, but I wouldn't say that I get board games just to collect them. Like every single board game that I have, I want to play. I have a collection of board games, but I wouldn't call myself a board game collector. Is that weird? Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense. I think it's weird, but I understand what you're saying. I
It
just
makes
think,
sense because you're not Rob.
I
Rob,
No,
I
no,
don't
no. It
have-
doesn't make sense.
I don't
It doesn't
have an
make sense 'cause your
attachment to a
collection-
game just because it is that game. I want the game to actually like put it on the table and play it with my friends. And if I no longer have that desire, I feel like sometimes a collection is kind of like an archive of things. Like I don't want to have like an archive of board games where it's just like this is a board game and this is just where it sits. Like every one that I have, I'm like I want to pull it out and like make this happen. But I mean, if somebody saw my board games, are like, oh, you collect board games, I'd have to be like, oh, well, I guess, yeah, okay.
I mean, I see what you're saying, and I understand your point. However, I think when you reach your level of collection of quantity,
Yeah.
it's hard not to say that you're not a collector. Now, you play all your games, you enjoy your games, great. Not all collectors keep all their stuff still in the plastic wrap to sell it 30 years down the road. Like I would say that I'm a collector of games, and I'm just like you. I want to play all mine. I want to bust out all the plastic pieces and do all this stuff. I mean, a collector doesn't have to be categorized as the guy who's still holding on to his 1978 version of Star Wars in a box.
Right.
You know, and so I just think it's hard for me not to consider you a collector, Roy, when you're easily over 100 games. I mean, I would say even over 50. If you have over 50 of something from a hobby, you're probably a collector of that
flux
thing.
a lot too. Like I get rid of games and
But
bring other
you,
games in.
but hold on, are you
Like, I
getting
don't
rid of
hold-
them or are you replacing them? So you may get rid of the game, but you're replacing it with another game. In essence, so your collection of games is still staying large. You may get rid of a game, but it's not like you're just getting rid of it to get rid of it. You're replacing it with a newer and better game.
Sometimes getting rid of it because it just is lame.
Okay,
But,
but that's few and far between. Because, like you said earlier, a lot of the games you have, it's because you like them and you like to play them.
Right.
And so,
I would never buy a game just to have it sit on my shelf.
sure.
Like I would never go out of my way to get like a super expensive game and be like, no, this is too good to play. Like my brother is awesome. I really love the game Rex. But before Rex, there was this game called Dune. My brother got me the original game of Dune for Christmas, or my birthday, I mean. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this game is really expensive, and like, it's like basically a collector's item now because it's so old and it's like out of print, and everybody loves the original version of Dune over the version of Rex. I mean, I still like Rex a lot, and I think the game is awesome. But it's Dune. It's like the original, like it's the right theme and it fits everything. But like I want to play it. I don't want to have it like sit there in the like plastic wrap and be like, this is a $200 game on eBay. Like just have it sit there. I'm like,
Sure.
what's the point of that? To me, I don't like see the point of having a game just sit there if I wouldn't want to actually do like the activity with it, you know? I don't want to have a game just to have a game. I don't want to have it just to sit there. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird.
No, I think a lot of people are there. I mean, I do want to have the Risk games as a nostalgia. Now, I would play any one of my Risk games, and all of them are out of shrink. All of them are opened up. I've touched all of them. I want to see all the different pieces and the different boards and the artwork and stuff like that. But My risk thing is a little bit different, yeah, because I am collecting them as a fun part. Now, I don't ever think I'll own all of the different versions, and I don't necessarily want to own that many because there's a lot of different versions of Risk. But to answer your question, yes, that's the thing that I collect. Besides board games
Have
and
you ever
wait,
played like a CCG and wanted to get like the whole set of the CCG or anything like that?
I'm that way now with Ashes.
Gotcha.
Like I want everything that comes out. Just but for multiple reasons. One, I played a lot. Two, the artwork is absolutely stunning. I mean, it really is beautifully well done. And they just won the award for best artwork in a game on the Dice Tower Awards,
Yeah.
and deservedly so. It's a fantastic game. But like when I was playing Magic and stuff like that, I never wanted the whole set
Yeah.
of like the different cards, but I did want the best cards available that were there for the draft. Now, I did want them a little bit when I played Redemption because Redemption was kind of like Ashes where cards don't get phased out. You know, there's just better cards that replaces them. Um, but over the years, I've given a lot of my Redemption cards to other players to kind of
Gotcha.
help build their collection. So I'm not holding on to it as much.
Gotcha.
It also depends on where you are in your life. You know, like when I started playing Magic, I didn't have the kid and other things like that. Like I had more time and things like that to worry about playing competitively. But I'll tell you what, ever since my daughter has come into the picture, and I don't know if this has changed for you, Roy, but like I really don't care if I win as much anymore. Whether it's board
Gotcha.
games or card games or even video games, like my that competitive side in me has been replaced, or maybe not replaced, because I still am a competitive person, but it's been dumbed down to like, you know what, this really doesn't matter. You know, what matters is the lovely people I have in my life, and I'm not making money doing this, so it's not like it's taking food off of my family's table, like it's just a game,
Yeah.
you know. So
It's interesting to see that evolutionary process in work. Like you're less competitive because you found a mate and then made a progeny.
yeah,
So you've essentially done what your primary goal was in life. Not necessarily you personally, but
sure.
just you as a species.
Well, but yeah, but I mean that my primary goal in my life now, outside of my faith, is to take care of my family and to see my family grow and to be as successful as possible. I mean, just because we've had a kid, well, now I want to make sure the kid or the toddler becomes a kid, and then the kid becomes an annoying teenager, and then the annoying teenager becomes adult. Like, yes, my
Yeah.
new game in life is to see my family grow and make it to their next level, their next stage, so they can play Pokemon Go with me and understand it. So, like, I mean, yeah, it's just different priorities. Like I said, I still am competitive, but I don't get as uptight or as competitive. Like before, in my past, if I ever lost a game, whether it was the first time I ever played the game or not, bro, I'd get pissed. I just like, and it's not so much that I got mad at other people, but I'd really beat myself up over it because I'm like, why didn't I know better? I should have figured that out. But now I'm just like, I mean, you see me, Matt, because Matt and I, Roy's over there like kicking our butts. We're just like laughing, not even knowing
Yeah.
what we're doing, pain, like just having a good time. Where like if you would have met me 4+ years ago before she was born, I'd have been like, Roy, conquer one more objective. I'm gonna kick you under the table. Conquer one more objective. You know. So I know that's not set collection, but
It
Awesome.
could be set collection if you consider your children a set.
I
Hey, I
consider
got
my
I
family.
got
You
one
only
of
have
each.
one, so you need a couple more to complete the set.
Got one of each.
We're talking about having another one soon.
Oh, snap.
Practice makes perfect.
Oh man. But yeah, for me, I like never collected like card games like to try to get the whole set or anything. I just wanted the good cards. Like I want this card to be playable. If the card is not playable and like good in my deck, then I don't even need it. And a lot of times even like if this is not the meta that I'm playing now or whatever I'm currently playing, then I don't really care about it. I'll trade it away to try to get stuff to make when I'm playing better, which is not necessarily good when there's a shifting meta in like a collectible game, because then it shifts and now these cards are good and the cards you have are no longer any good. So, but I would always be the kid who would trade away my holo foil Pokemon card for the regular version of the same card and like another card and be like, oh, you got the foil, but mine has the same text on it, and now I have two cards and you have the one shiny one. It doesn't really matter to me that it's shiny. So I'm more focused on the gameplay aspects of it and trying to make my gameplay better than having the collection of all the cool shiny stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the bragging rights of having all the things. I got all the things. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, it's kind of interesting though, because I've been trying my darndest to collect every single one of these freaking Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Like, I'm like, I don't even like that Pokemon. Catching it anyway. So.
Yeah.
I think this app, especially for today's generation and everything, is so genius. And that's another reason, because of this app and other apps to come, I'm really excited for VR. I think a lot of people have gotten so lazy. And I'm fat. I really can't say. I'm not a lazy person, though. I mean, I'm always constantly going. I just eat a lot. But I love the fact that this works, because I drive around to the gyms. Every time I drive by a certain park, I get my free Pokeballs, but it doesn't count for my egg incubator unless you walk and get up and run around. Like, I am excited for this game and future VR games where you actually have to move around and duck and bow your head and all that stuff.
Nice.
So maybe a set collection, we could see who has the most VR games. VR stands for virtual reality.
Like currently?
No, I'm saying like in the future, like when they're a big thing, because I know PlayStation is releasing their big VR next year. They're going to start to have like games on PlayStation 4 that are going to be virtual reality capable. Their helmet's supposed to be released next year.
Did you see that Tabletop Simulator is coming out with compatibility with one of the virtual reality systems?
Is it the one where he does your phone?
Oh, no, it's one of the other ones. Like, I forgot what the name of it is. The Vive,
The what?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing is insanely good.
So
But it's
yeah,
also $800.
you can put the Vive on and you can
It's not that
see the Tabletop Simulator table with all the pieces on it and stuff like that, and be able to interact with it and basically play the
Like
board game.
pick up the cards and stuff on the table.
Yeah, because so here's the
Shut
thing: the
up.
Vive is not only a headset, but it has two controllers that you hold in your hands that you can interact with things in the world with, and then those control not only like how you can maybe move about the world, but pick things up and do stuff in a virtual space. It's insane.
So you could sit on your couch, play this, and play Ashes, and like reach out, grab the card, and flip it over, or grab a token and put it on there, and you just have these two little remote things you would use that would act like your hands. And then if you want to look around, you just be able to look around and see the table from whatever angle you were looking at, and it would like turn the camera screen. If you want to look in closer, you could lean in closer, and it would zoom
That
into the
is
table.
so freaking awesome.
So, and like they're actually making that for Tabletop Simulator, so you can play board games in virtual reality, which is not as cool as playing face to face. But if your friend you're trying to play with is in a different country, I mean, it might be an option for you.
Unless they're in Greece, then they can't afford it.
Wah, wah. So, is there anything that is missing from your collection that like you want? Like if you have a collection and there's like the one thing that would be the best thing to add to your collection, what would it be?
I would say it's not made yet. Like there are expansions or updated versions that I want that aren't out yet.
For a Risk?
No.
Or just board games in general?
Just board games in general that I really want very badly, that are long overdue, that I wish would come out. So, yeah, and I'm talking about as my board game collection as a whole. That's my answer.
Awesome. I would really love to have the original War of the Ring Collector's Edition, the one with the wooden box
And the
with
painted
all
minis.
the painted miniatures, and like the board that's like twice as big as the regular one. I don't think that would fit on my table. Anyway,
It's that big?
I mean, I could probably put the wood slats in my table, and then it'd probably fit. But yeah, I don't know if. I mean, it might be like 4 foot or something like that. But if it's more than 4 feet, it won't even fit in there. It's like bigger. Like the regular map that I have is huge.
Huge.
Like
Yeah.
the other map is just extra big.
It's that brown box right there. No, that's Kemet. It's that one right there.
War of the Ring. I thought you were talking about the collector's edition. I was like, Rob? But anyway, it's like $1,500 for that now. Like if you
Just
can,
ask,
if you can even find it. Stephen
Ask
Bonacore?
Steve. Yeah,
Yeah,
hey, Steve.
I'm sure he'll give me his favorite game. So sure. But
We did have him on the podcast. He might.
But yeah, mostly just because the wooden box, like the miniatures, like I can paint miniatures okay. Like if I want to, I can paint my War of the Ring miniatures. I'm pretty sure better than the miniatures that are gonna come in that game. But like the wooden box with like the like woodwork on like all the different factions on the cover of it, it's pretty intense. They're coming out with like a new War of the Ring Collector's Edition that they just came out with, which is a lot cheaper, but it's not the same.
Well, are you planning on getting the War of the Ring? Speaking of them, the new expansion at Gen Con?
I definitely want it. It's
like $50.
I just need to play War of the Ring more. War of the Ring is one of those games that there's so much in it and like so much to just dig into and play. Like,
And it's only a 2-player game.
Right, and it's only a 2-player game, so I don't get to play it like a whole lot. That like the expansions that add more to it, it's just kind of like, but I just want to play what I have now more. But it'll definitely be awesome because it adds like treants and like different faction things, and I really want to see like the Men of Dunharrow, like the Dead Men or whatever. Like that's gonna be awesome. So, but yeah, definitely excited about that. What about you, Matt? Do you have any posters or Steam games that you need to add to your collection? Maybe hot sauces or random beers that need to be added?
I did just get 3 hot sauces. Oh, beers, though. There's a beer that I really want to try that is brewed in California called Pliny the Elder.
If it doesn't have a wizard on the front of it, I'm gonna be
very
upset.
hard to get a hold of, especially over here, because they don't. The company that makes it doesn't have any distribution inroads like anywhere over here. So it's like they make it, and then people line up like a day before so that they can buy all of it, and then it's just gone. And it's like, cool. See you guys the next time we make a batch or whatever. So I would love to try that. Other than that, the only thing I was thinking of is I have an old school King Kong movie poster, like a full size one. That's in my living room, and I would really like to have more old school movie posters, but they're stupid expensive.
See, I'm surprised none of you said a full collection of the Blood Rage stuff.
I'm not.
Well, just because that's a game that we play.
That ship has sailed.
I mean, I
awesome.
wouldn't. I wouldn't mind it. There are things I would rather have, though. It would be really cool, but like, I don't know.
That game's too easy. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I wouldn't play it with anybody but you guys anyway. So it's like,
Just play Rob's.
why would I go through all that?
Rob's like,
It's
I'll play
okay.
with you. Awesome, guys. Well, that has pretty much been a podcast.
Hey, we need to do a future show off of like oh my gosh, my wife is the best in the whole entire world, guys. She just brought me a Dario chocolate milkshake.
What?
I don't even remember what I was thinking about.
No.
I was just saying a thought, and now all I can think of is chocolate and Pokemon Go.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning into the podcast. We stream these on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to check us out on youtube.com/C/Epic Gaming Night. Our contest is still currently going on our YouTube channel. We literally need like 30 more people to subscribe, and then we're gonna draw the winner. All you have to do is go to our Oh My Gosh Board Games video, comment your favorite game, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you're entered to win Codenames, Spyfall, and One Night Ultimate Werewolf, which I'm actually super excited to ship that out. I'm also going to be sending a set of, we just got these Epic Gaming Night dice, which I really need to show off. Have a few bags of them, but they're dice that we got made from Chessex, which have a nice like sparkly blue color, and it has the Epic Gaming Night logo on it, and they're pretty awesome. And the camera's not going to focus on that because it's too
I can't even
go
see
on
it.
the background.
It's off to the right.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm doing it for the stream, not for you, Rob. But anyway.
Okay.
It says Epic Gaming Night, and it looks really good on the die when you look at it in person. You can check it out, a picture of it, on our Instagram, if you check us out at Epic Gaming Night, or on our Twitter at Epic Gaming Night, and hit us up there. But yeah, hit us up at Gen Con, and you might find yourself one die happier.
Bro, this
Only if you talk
milkshake
to
is
Roy,
so
but
good.
Rob might be stingy with his.
What do you mean, Roy? Rob gives out stuff. Rob loves love. I want to take
Especially
awkward
hugs.
pictures. I mean, not so much hugs, but it's the awkward pictures and stuff like that. I'm excited to meet people, man.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. If you are going to Gen Con and you listen to this podcast and you see us, please talk to us because it'll mean the world to us.
Also, we're lonely.
Yeah, you guys are the reason we do this podcast. Like, we want to interact with people, teach more people about the board game
are our
industry.
set collection.
Exactly. We're trying to collect all of the listeners that we can and just make more friends. We're trying to collect friends. Got to catch them all.
Bro,
Got to catch them all.
Mild advocation for slavery right there.
Terrible. Okay, and also check out our t-shirts at analoggamer.com/epic gaming night. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much been a podcast.
I'm going to
We'll
do
see
a
you
free
guys-
shout out to Dario. Dario, you have the best chocolate milkshakes. You're not a sponsor of our show yet, but this is freaking amazing. Dario ice cream.
I've never heard of this.
What?
Yeah.
Is it better than Cookout? Dude, man, High C Punch Milkshake at Cookout is the bomb. Peace.
I don't know.
Taking it back with the 90s.
I don't know. We're gonna have to do like a taste
Taste
off.
test. We'll just go around
Let
and
us
get
be
a whole
our
bunch of
next
milkshakes
podcast.
from a bunch of different
Smells like
places
taste test.
and do it.
63.5.
As we're driving around. Yeah, we
Looking
can,
for Pokemon.
catch
Thanks,
Pokemon.
Caravant43 and Zeb in chat. They were talking back and forth like the whole time in chat. It's pretty
Oh,
awesome.
to each other or to us?
Yeah, to each other. Well, I mean, they were commenting on what we were saying. But yeah, Zeb
What'd they
at the
say?
beginning was like, Pokemon Go! He's got 34 out of 35 seen.
Nice.
Yeah. Good times.
All right, guys, this has been fun. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go play Star Wars Rebellion because I want to.
Do it, man. It's going to be awesome.
Have fun.
See you next
Peace.
time, Rob. Peace. Awesome, guys. Well, wait. Oh, Dario's. Zeb's talking about Dario's in chat. He said he just ate there for the first time last Friday. It makes Cookout look cheap, I guess, because it's like a fancy place. I don't remember what the price difference is, if Dario's is about the same or whatever, because freaking Cookout, you can get
like
food
$2.
for $5. You can get a lot
Yeah.
of freaking food. Like, I eat the whole tray, and I should not. It is bad for me, but I freaking rank it every time. But, yeah, good times.
My one complaint about Cookout is anytime I go there and get a bacon cheeseburger, I feel like the bacon is always never cooked. Like, I pull it off and it's pink, and I'm just like,
That can't be good for you.
right. I'm just like, why do I even order this? But I still do
Nice.
it all the time.
Righto, guys. Well, thanks so much for checking out the podcast. Anybody who's watching on YouTube, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.